disclaimer number 2 so far, I think. Many people would like to, I think many people, I could feel maybe a stack, a decent stack of yellow pages with the people that would want to assign weaknesses of character or vicious behavior to myself. I am not a bad guy. I'm a bad guy in the same way in which Johnny Rotten or maybe Sid Vicious, may he rest in peace, were bad guys. And also that guy from Joy Division, what's his name? The guy from Joy Division. Also, may he rest in peace. Yes, Ian Curtis. That was the name that I was searching for. So, um, what is the disclaimer all about? I mean, it. What could this disclaimer be all about? When something when shit hits the fan, uh, the somebody will have to stay after class, and I mean, who do you suppose that would be? Well, in a way, for example, elections should be. I think that the electoral process should be free in any democracy, in any democracy in the world, in any country whose people chose democracy, whatever that means. Well, maybe the democracy is a huge word because everybody uses it in a weird fashion, and we don't know what it means. But okay, so there exists the American democracy. Okay, so I have come to believe in the American democracy, and well, in any country that claims to be democratic according to some abstract measure of what democracy is, in the vein of Hofstede's measure, I guess, of verticality in any society. So, in any country that claims to be democratic, including the Russian Federation, China not necessarily. I think China is different, and I'm not going to get into that because, well, uh, China. So I've proposed to you the Japanese script as the optimal measure of as the optimal and perfect and ideal at the same time measure for what abstraction is. And I've proposed to you, for example, Robert Goldblatt's topoi, the famous summarization of the famous summary of well, techniques from category theory and many ideas from pure mathematics. If so, I've proposed to you these tools, among many others. I mean, there's a lot of meta patterns in what I say. So, um, democracies, competitions. Okay, competitions shouldn't be rigged. Speech should be free. If so, this one's delicate. Okay, this statement is delicate. So, freedom of speech should exist. Well, under what circumstances, right? If if um, if somebody is provocative, then if somebody is provocative in what they do or what they say, then it's reasonable, according to some measures, according to some measure of what is right and wrong, it's reasonable to cut their microphone, right? Just like uh, while should have been 5 to 6 years ago, I was attending a course in ethics in philosophical ethics, analytical philosophy, yes, at the University of Western Australia. A course taught a lecture. I've attended a few lectures, I guess. Um, the lectures were delivered by Dr. Michael Rubin. Okay, so based on some notion of pragmatism, and he posed a lot of thought experiments, and most of them are obvious. For example, if who would you save? Who would you save if you were to save between, I guess, one life and the life of 50 other people? Well, yeah, it's hard to make these decisions, but it's I think there exists an optimal strategy, and well, fortunately enough, these days technology helps us, and computing is ubiquitous. Computing is everywhere. So I think if we were to choose between saving the lives of one person or 50 other people, then we could we could in fact, based on the uh, the 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 advancements in our technology in the last 20 to 30 years or so, we could save 51 human beings, guys. But okay, so the background, the fundamentals um, of this type of philosophy and this type of foundational ethics is based on the theory of pragmatism, I guess. And well, yeah. Apart from that, elections, sports competitions, like the stock market. Do we have a model for the stock market, like like a reasonable model, or otherwise? I mean, what are the pros and cons here? Should countries trade amongst each other based on commerce chambers, as it is done in some regions of the world, rather than stock market? Is the stock market rigged? Okay, I've asked this before, so yeah. And I approved. I approved in. I guess I gave. I gave the. I did give the principles that guide me in thinking that, well, stock market, stock exchange, things like that. Well, they're very, very rudimentary mechanisms that appeal to hypnotizing consumers and stuff, and well, that's not good. That should be inverted in some precise, very, very precise, optimal way. Okay, that effect should be inverted. But okay, uh that's in addition to what I said in my last few segments. Yet so elections, sport competitions, anything that is a competition, well, these should be this shouldn't be rigged. Is basketball rigged? Well, I don't know. Is I don't know, National Football League in America? Well, any such league in any country of the world, the computers should not interfere with these types of competitions. And well, what is the argument? What Okay, so give me a 200, 300 page philosophical argument for rigging sports, okay, and then invert it. I don't know, invert it and keep it that way, okay, because it's not good. It's lying to people in such a way, well, that is a bad thing. And by the way, are what sort of chemicals do we ingest? Okay, so I'm on a medication program myself. I mean, what are the chemicals that I'm ingesting? What am I? What is the coagulant agent in my cheese? What if I go to my if I take a short trip to my dairy around the corner, you know which one it is. Um, so and I bought a pack of jam or a pack of Japanese noodles. What sort of chemicals would there be in there? Do we have combinatorial effects in the food we eat, such that basically chemicals aren't detected detected in our food, but in conjunction with certain medication may cause severe damage to health in human beings, and I mean severe. Is that a reality? Is this a reality? Is this okay? Is this a state of affairs these days? So it's questions like that, you know. I mean, it's sad I have to repeat myself, but I already said, um, people are acting maliciously on purpose these days, and it's more than that. There exists structure. Okay, there exists structure in there exist structures and patterns in how people organize themselves in order to act maliciously. And there exists, so first of all, there exists a structure in this malicious hierarchy formed of people, of human beings. And so that there exists a structure in this hierarchy, and then there exists a strategy on there exists a protocol on how they communicate between them. What do they say in public? What do they say in private? And how do they treat other human beings that don't belong to this hierarchy? So it's things like this. It's pretty sad that people, many people, haven't understood this issue. And well, uh, I guess it should be understood that there exists organized crime these days, and by this I mean organized Satanism, guys. Satanism is an organized phenomenon. I need to know everything about this, okay? And if you're familiar, okay, so what format? I think you know about Java multi-threading by now, and object-oriented programming, and I guess multi-threading. I mean, I've just posed to you two different questions. So you use multiple threading for these questions, like the questions of chemicals in food and medication, and then strategies and structures in organized Satanism. I guess we could use three three independent threads that don't communicate amongst them on this one. So I mean, this sort of stuff is obvious to a person that like myself. Okay, so if I was to be a CPU myself, by any chance, I mean, I would answer pretty quick, I think, but based on my way of thinking. But okay, so are you accustomed with a book called Magical Symbols and Alphabets by a lady that goes by the name of a lady that goes by the name of Sandra Kynes, so Kynes. Magical Symbols and Alphabets, and a practitioner's guide to spells, rites, and history. Well, I find the format pretty good. I find the format extremely good on this one, on this book. It suits my reading style very well. it I would have made it more pictorial, but maybe the level of graphics is a maximum it can get on this one without getting too explicit. I guess there's this idea of target audience. Who do we speak to? I mean, do we speak to academics? Do we speak to graduate students? Do we speak to high school kids? Do we speak to I don't know, primary school kids, I guess? Or do we in fact speak to the guys that make things happen, like um, the guys that watch over us, like police, but it's like the good cops. I'm talking about the good cops here, and in countries that have special intervention units like SWAT units or gendarmerie, things like that. I think Hong Kong has a special police. Structures like these. I mean, to a person that first of all is not corrupt. That is the magical criteria here, pun intended. So a person that is not corrupt, and the person, he or she is very professional, and they work in such a structure like gendarmerie or special forces. Well, I would send them explicit material, like as explicit as it gets, right? But okay, so I guess you are familiar with the mode of thinking. I know I said before, Bill Gates. Bill Gates does things Bill Gates is the man of the last few decades of the last century. Okay, so he does things in a wonderful way. He's very very talented. He's got a system in place. He does things very very good, and I mean, by this I don't necessarily mean that, okay, the his software is the best, but I mean, presentation is excellent, on this philosopher, on this critical thinker, Mr. William Gates the third, I believe. So, for example, Excel, there's that idea of tabs in Excel, bullet points. Okay, bullet points, categories, guys. For a manuscript, you should categorize information. So a good categorizing for, I don't know, for witchcraft. Okay, so let's take witchcraft. So can we make a good table of contents? Okay, what does a good table of contents look like? Okay, what sort of tabs? How would I summarize it that it can be read easily? Okay, how do I tailor the information for the audience in question? Okay, so for a witchcraft explicit manual, I would have to include, well, first of all, a tab that says ideology, maybe a tab that says ontology, in like, what is it that exists, what sort of objects do we believe in, and then maybe methodology, like the patterns that we use in our strategies, and maybe practice. Okay, practice, that, well, that's a tab that should include what sort of stuff do we do concretely, and well, I mean, and well, I guess I've skipped motivation. Okay, why do we do what we do? Well, what advantages do we gather from engaging in witchcraft? Okay, but coming back to us, I mean, I don't. So I need the strategy and the description for the bad guys. Okay, it's not the good guys that need scrutiny on this one. It's the bad guys that need scrutiny. Okay, and but okay for I mean, I mentioned this. I mentioned what I stand for and what I believe in, and what my background, what the gestalt of a perfect world would look like. And well, for me in particular, and you can generalize to other religions, to other good religions too. Well, to an Orthodox Christian, well, the main text is that the life of the saints, actually, and the patterns in there. What, what what sort of things did the saints do in other questions, in other as another way of expressing it.